My name is Lauren Hayes. I'm 31 years old, and 3 weeks before my wedding, my fiancé texted me that he was going to expose my affair at my own bridal shower. He didn't say it like a question. He said it like a calendar reminder. It was 9:47 a.m. on a Saturday when my phone lit up on the kitchen counter, right next to the half-packed stack of party favors I was supposed to bring to the country club. Hope you're ready for today. I'm telling everyone at your bridal shower what you've been doing. Every single person will know you're a cheater. Your mom, your sister, all of them. You destroyed us. I stared at the screen so long the text thread dimmed. My first thought wasn't panic. It was, is this a prank? Did someone steal his phone? I picked it up with numb fingers. What are you talking about? His response came almost instantly, like he'd been waiting for me to ask. Don't play dumb. I know about him. The late nights, the work trips, all of it. I have proof. Everyone's going to see what kind of woman you really are. 2 p.m. Be there. Or don't. Either way, everyone finds out today. I'm an IT project manager. My life is timestamps and audit trails. If you ask me where I was last Thursday at 9:13 p.m., I can probably pull 3 different systems to prove it. I wasn't cheating. There was no him. I leaned against the counter, trying to breathe around the sudden tightness in my chest. This had to be a misunderstanding, a mix-up, something. Can we please talk about this? Call me. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. A final message. Save it for the shower. See you at 2, or don't. Then nothing. I stood there in my kitchen, in an old t-shirt and leggings, hair half curled, watching my future tilt sideways. Late nights. We'd just done a system migration last month. I'd been in the office with my entire team until midnight so many Fridays that the cleaning staff knew my coffee order. Work trips. I'd gone to exactly 2 conferences this year, both booked through the company, both with my boss, and a dozen other people. Hotel rooms paid by the corporate card. Bad buffet eggs. Endless PowerPoints. The idea that there was some secret lover tucked into all that was almost laughable. Almost. Because my fiancé, Evan, wasn't joking. He was building a story, and he was planning to tell it in front of my mother, my sister, my friends, and about 50 people who thought they were coming to celebrate my future. Something cold slid into my spine. He said he had proof. I opened our shared Find My Phone tab. We'd turned it on 2 years ago, after I'd gotten stuck with a flat tire on the highway. The kind of practical, responsible couple decision that felt boringly loving at the time. Now it felt like a loaded gun on the table. I flipped to his device. Location history. Last Wednesday, he'd told me he was at his friend Tyler's place, helping assemble a new grill. Guy bonding, beers, smoke, the works. His GPS? Not Tyler's cozy little house with the crappy driveway. An apartment complex I didn't recognize. Riverside Apartments. He'd been there from 7 p.m. to almost midnight. Friday, he'd said he was taking his mom shopping. She wants my opinion on new dining chairs, he'd said, rolling his eyes like the dutiful son. His location history? A hotel near downtown. 3 hours in the middle of the afternoon. My stomach dipped. Last night, he'd texted, "Guys' night. Late one. Don't wait up," with a tongue-out emoji. His dot? Riverside Apartments again. Until 2:14 a.m. I scrolled further back. My fingers started to shake. Again. The same apartment complex kept popping up over and over, slotted into places where he'd told me other stories. Gym sessions, running errands, poker nights. It wasn't a glitch. It was a pattern. My phone almost slipped from my hand as I hit call on the one person I trusted to see me ugly panicking. My best friend, Danny. She picked up on the second ring. "Morning, bride-to-be. You sound like you're about to tell me the florist lost all the peonies." "My fiancé is about to accuse me of cheating at my bridal shower," I said. My voice sounded weirdly calm in my own ears. "In front of 50 people. I've never cheated, but I think he has." There was a beat of silence. Then Danny, sharp and focused, the way she gets at work when someone's messed up payroll. "I'm on my way, 15 minutes, don't move." She hung up. I stared at my phone for another second, then opened my laptop. If Evan wanted proof, he was going to get it. By the time Danny burst into my apartment, hair in a messy bun, wearing mismatched sneakers and no makeup, I had my work calendar up, my email confirmations open, and my company's time-tracking system loaded. She shut the door behind her with a snap. "Okay," she said, dropping her keys on the counter. "Tell me everything. From the text. Don't skip." I handed her my phone. She read the messages, her eyebrows climbing higher with each line. "Oh, he's insane," she muttered. "Okay, breathe. We're not going to freak out. We're going to build a case." That's the problem, I said. I don't have a case because there is nothing. I go to work. I come home. I might stop for groceries. Apparently, that's now some sordid affair. Lauren, she said quietly, your whole life is logged. You're the queen of receipts. We're going to show that. For the next 3 hours, my small dining table turned into an evidence war room. We pulled 6 months of my phone records, work keycard access logs, GPS history from my phone and my car, security footage from my office. My boss, who liked Evan and thought we were relationship goals, gave it a quick call and got me what I asked for. Confirmation emails for both conferences, expense reports, flight details, hotel key logs. Every late night, he'd ever side-eyed me about had a perfectly boring digital trail. Me at my desk, swiping in, swiping out, eating sad takeout under fluorescent lights. Every suspicious conference had group photos, panel live streams, and timestamps that left no space for some mystery man. Then we went back to Evan. How many times has he lied about where he is? Danny asked, scrolling through his location history with a scary kind of concentration. We cross-referenced the GPS pings with his texts and the stories he'd told me. 23 times in 6 weeks. 23 little fractures where his dot and his words didn't match. Riverside Apartments came up so often it started to feel like a punchline. Someone he knows lives there, I said, throat tight. We just don't know who. Danny opened LinkedIn on her phone, typed Riverside Apartments Trainer Gym into the search bar, and started hunting. It didn't take long. Lauren, she said, turning the screen toward me. A profile photo. A fit, pretty woman in a sports bra and leggings, smiling in front of a wall of weights. Location, Riverside Apartments, Unit 6B. Occupation, personal trainer. Mutual connection, Evan. At the top of her profile, formerly dated Evan Cole, friends again now. My vision tunneled for a second. Ex-girlfriend, trainer, Riverside, Unit 6B. Of course, my fiancé wasn't just cheating. He was cheating with his ex. The kind of cliché I'd rolled my eyes at in movies had apparently decided to move into my real life. Danny watched my face carefully. We don't have concrete proof of what they're doing in there, she said, voice gentle. But 23 visits in 6 weeks, while he's lying about it? A hotel in the middle of the day? Come on. I pressed my palms flat on the table to stop them from shaking. He's going to stand in front of my mom, I said slowly, and call me a cheater while he's doing this. Yes, she said. He is, because he wants to flip the script first. A bitter laugh scraped out of my chest. IT project manager versus ex-boyfriend with a martyr complex, I said. He really picked the wrong woman to gaslight. Danny's eyes flashed. So what do you want to do? For a moment, I considered not going, letting him rant to a room full of people without me there, letting him burn whatever reputation he thought he was setting on fire. But then I saw my mother's face in my mind, my little sister, probably recording everything on her phone, my nieces in their little flower girl dresses, all of them hearing his version first. No, if he wanted an audience, he could have one. But he wasn't the only one bringing a story. I'm going to my bridal shower, I said, and I'm bringing the truth on a USB drive. Danny smiled, slow and sharp. Then let's make it a show. We compiled everything into a clean, brutal presentation. Slides with dates, times, logs, screenshots, columns labeled Evan's story and reality, clips of me at work, email headers, conference programs. At the end, we added the Riverside slides, his text claiming errands and guys' nights, his GPS dot at Unit 6B, her profile. 23 mismatches in 6 weeks. When we finished, I stared at the title screen. Verification report, 6 months of receipts. It didn't feel real that my relationship had become a project file. But if he wanted to turn my life into evidence, then fine. I knew how to win with evidence. By 1:30 p.m., my hair was curled, my makeup was on, and my hands were perfectly steady as I slid the USB drive into my purse. Danny squeezed my shoulder as we headed for the door. You don't have to go through with this, she said softly. You can walk away, cancel everything quietly, never speak to him again. I met her eyes. He chose to make it public, I said. I'm just choosing not to let him write my story. Outside, the sky was painfully clear, the kind of bright blue that makes you think of wedding photos and happily ever afters. I locked my apartment door, took a breath that felt like swallowing glass, and walked toward the car. If my life was going to blow up today, I was at least going to be the one holding the detonator. The country club looked like a magazine spread. White balloons, blush flowers, soft linens draped over round tables. The kind of afternoon where everyone wears pastel and pretends life is delicate and pretty. Danny parked and killed the engine. "You okay?" she asked. "No," I said honestly, "but I'm steady." She held my gaze for a second, then nodded. In the parking lot, I could already see cars I recognized. My mom's silver SUV, my sister's tiny blue hatchback, a cluster of his relatives' sedans. Laughter drifted out every time the front doors opened. For a moment, I wondered what this day would have looked like if the texts had never come. Me walking in, pretending I didn't know what the senator pieces looked like. Everyone squealing about veils and seating charts. A different universe. Danny stepped out of the car with me. "Remember," she said under her breath, "you are not the problem walking into this room. You are the solution." I almost smiled. "You sound like my project kickoff meetings." "Good, go kick something off." Inside, the blast of air conditioning hit me, followed by the smell of catered finger food and too sweet punch. And then his mother. She turned, saw me, and her expression snapped from hostess smile to barely contained rage. "What are you doing here?" she demanded, striding over in heels that clicked like accusations. "You have a lot of nerve showing up after what you've done." It was almost funny how fast they'd decided on the script. "It's my bridal shower," I said quietly. "I'm still the bride." "For now," she shot back. "Not after today. My son is finally telling everyone the truth." Behind her, a cluster of his aunts stared at me like I'd tracked mud onto white carpet. "What truth?" my mom's voice cut in. She appeared at my side, small but solid, her lips pressed together in a line I hadn't seen since I was a teenager, trying to sneak in after curfew. His mother didn't even look at her. "The truth about who your daughter really is," she said. "Don't worry, you'll hear it soon enough." She pivoted and stalked away. My mom's hand found mine, squeezed hard. "What is going on?" she whispered. "Wait," I said, because if I tried to explain now, I was going to start the presentation in the foyer. We walked into the main room. 50 people, give or take, sat at decorated tables, chatting and sipping drinks. A slideshow of childhood photos of me and Evan played on the massive TV at the front. Us at a pumpkin patch, us at a beach, us at a Christmas party. I felt like I was watching strangers. He stepped out from behind the dessert table as soon as he saw me. Evan looked calm, too calm. Dark suit, no tie, hair perfectly styled. There was a strange light in his eyes, a mix of triumph and nervousness. "You came," he said, like I'd surprised him. "Brave." "Wouldn't miss it," I replied, matching his tone. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my teeth, but my voice didn't shake. Danny hovered at the edge of the room, phone in her hand, eyes taking in every detail. He leaned closer. "You could still save yourself some humiliation if you leave now," he murmured. "I'll just tell people we broke up for personal reasons." "That's generous," I said, "but no thanks. I'm curious to see your proof." Something flickered in his expression, annoyance or fear. It was gone as quickly as it came. "Suit yourself," he said. He walked to the front of the room and picked up the microphone. The chatter died immediately. "Thank you all for coming today," he began, voice smooth, practiced. "I know this is supposed to be a celebration. And trust me, I wish it still was. But before we go any further, there's something I need to tell you. Something that changes everything." My sister stopped mid-sip, her eyes darting to me. I gave the tiniest nod. "Keep watching." "For months now," Evan continued, "I've had a feeling something was off. Late nights at work, suspicious business trips, weird behavior with her phone. But I trusted Lauren. I wanted to believe I was imagining things." He paused for effect. Someone near the back whispered. But my gut told me something was wrong, so I started paying closer attention. And I was right. Gasps. A few hands flew to mouths. One of his aunts shook her head sadly. My mom half rose from her chair. "Lauren, what is he?" His hand shot up. "Please, just let me finish." He turned back to the crowd, eyes shining with rehearsed pain. "While I've been planning our dream wedding," he said, "while my family and I have been paying deposits and booking vendors and preparing to welcome her into our lives, Lauren has been having an affair." There it was, the word. Affair, like a slap. "She's been lying about where she is," he went on, "using work as a cover, sneaking around. I've collected enough proof to know it's true. I couldn't in good conscience marry someone who would do this to me. To us." He looked at me then, eyes asking for permission to crush me. "Anything you want to say, Lauren?" he asked into the mic. "Before everyone sees what you've done?" 50 pairs of eyes swung to me. For 1 second, the room tilted, and I was 20 years old again, about to cry in front of a college classroom because I'd forgotten my lines in a presentation. Then the moment passed. "Yes," I said, my voice carried without a microphone. "I would like to say something, and if it's okay, I'd also like to use the screen." A murmur rippled through the crowd. The AV guy, some bored staff member in a polo, looked at Evan. He nodded, clearly thinking I was about to confess or beg. I walked up, feeling the weight of 50 people's judgment pressing against my skin. My hand didn't shake as I pulled the USB drive from my purse. I could feel Evan's mother's glare burning a hole in my back. The slideshow of childhood photos blinked off. The title screen I'd built that morning appeared. Verification report. 6 months of documentation. The effect was immediate. His smugness flickered. My sister, bless her, quietly pulled out her phone and started recording. "So," I said, taking the microphone from its stand, "you mentioned late nights at work. Let's start there." I clicked to the next slide. April 3rd, I read. Evan told me I was acting suspicious when I came home at 10 p.m. from a system migration. Here's my work calendar, showing scheduled maintenance from 6 to 11 p.m. Here's the building log, showing my keycard swiping in at 5:52 and out at 10:14. And here's security footage from my office with a timestamp. On the TV, a grainy video of me hunched over my keyboard in a hoodie played. Someone near the front let out a low whistle. April 10th, I continued. Same thing. April 24th, May 1st, May 8th. Each time the story was the same. I was accused of hiding something. Each time the documentation shows me exactly where I said I was, at work. I flipped through each slide quickly, not lingering, just letting the dates and times stack up like bricks. The room grew very quiet. "Now, the business conferences," I said. Conference 1, March 15th to 16th. Here's the company booking confirmation. My expense report with every meal and transaction, photos of the sessions, and the hotel keycard logs, showing me back in my room by 10 p.m. both nights. On the screen, a photo popped up of me and 20 coworkers in a fluorescent-lit ballroom, name tags crooked, half of us looking exhausted. Conference 2, April 22nd to 24th. Same thing, full documentation, no gaps, no disappearing acts, no mystery man. I let that sit for a beat. "Evan," I said, turning toward him, "you said you had proof I was cheating. I'd love to see it. Please show everyone this evidence you mentioned." He opened his mouth. Nothing came out. The silence stretched. "That's what I thought," I said softly into the mic. A nervous laugh broke from somewhere in the back. His mother hissed, "This is outrageous." But she didn't stand up. "Now," I continued, "here's the interesting part." Next slide. On the left, screenshots of Evan's text to me over the last 6 weeks. On the right, a map with a little blue dot. "Evan's stated location," I said, versus his actual GPS data. I clicked. "Wednesday, May 7th. You told me you were at Tyler's house, helping with his new grill. Might smell like smoke when I get home, remember? Your GPS shows you at Riverside Apartments, Unit 6B specifically, from 7 p.m. to 11:45. Someone near his side of the room gasped. His face went white. "Friday, May 9th, I went on. You said you were shopping with your mom. Holding her hand through chair shopping, I believe were the words. GPS shows you at the downtown Marriott from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's a strange kind of furniture store." His mother actually blurted, "What?" loud enough for everyone to hear. I clicked again. "Thursday, May 15th. You told me you had guys' night. According to your texts, poker and beer. Your GPS?" I looked back at the screen. Riverside Apartments again, until 2:14 a.m. I started moving faster, each slide a new lie. Errands, gym, quick stop at the hardware store. Riverside, Riverside, Riverside. 23 times in 6 weeks, I said quietly, your location didn't match your story. 23 times you lied about where you were. And 11 times in the last month you were at Unit 6B. I clicked to the next slide. A name and LinkedIn profile filled the screen. A fit woman in gym clothes, smiling confidently. Under her name, personal trainer. Riverside Apartments resident, Unit 6B. Mutual connections, including Evan. "This," I said, "is your ex-girlfriend. The one who lives in Unit 6B. The one you told me you were just friends with now. The one you conveniently started training with again to get in shape for the wedding." The room exploded. People talking over each other. His bridesmaids rushing toward him, faces pale. His mom saying, "That's not..." This is being taken out of context, even as she stared at the screen like it had personally betrayed her. My mom just looked at me, eyes shining, not with shame, but with something like fierce, aching pride. I unplugged the USB drive. The TV went black. I lifted the microphone one last time. "The wedding is canceled," I said, voice steady. "Vendors will be contacted on Monday. My half of the deposits will be refunded where possible." To my family, thank you for being here. To his family. I hesitated, then decided I'd given them enough. You might want to ask Evan some questions about his training sessions. I set the microphone down and walked away. Behind me, the room dissolved into chaos. My sister and my mom followed immediately, Danny falling into step at my other side as we pushed through the doors and out into the sunlight. In the parking lot, the air felt thin and harsh. My knees wanted to buckle, but my spine held. That, my sister said, half laughing, half crying, was the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. My mom wrapped her arms around me. I'm so sorry, baby, she whispered into my hair, but I am so proud of you. My phone started buzzing in my hand. Calls, texts, notifications stacking up so fast the screen blurred. I flipped it face down. I'm hungry, I heard myself say. Let's go home. We drove away from the club while, somewhere behind us, my almost husband tried to figure out how to spin a story that had just shattered in front of 50 witnesses. My apartment felt strangely quiet when we got back, as if the walls were holding their breath. Danny ordered pizza before I even took off my shoes. My sister kicked off her heels with a grunt. My mom put water on the stove like I was a child who needed feeding after a nightmare. We didn't talk about the shower. Not yet. I showered, changed into soft clothes, and tied my hair into a loose bun. When I came back out, the pizza was on the coffee table, sliced open, steam rising. My sister had queued up a sitcom and muted it. Background noise for shock. It felt surreal. 1 hour ago, 50 people watched my wedding implode. 1 hour ago, Evan's face went slack with the realization that the script he'd written had been ripped apart in front of an audience. 1 hour ago, my life forked. Pizza was good. TV was loud enough to drown out the buzz of my phone, which I'd flipped to Do Not Disturb. By 8 p.m., after everyone had gone home and I'd washed my face for the second time, I finally looked at my screen. 32 missed calls. From his mom, his sister. Random numbers. 2 voicemails from numbers I didn't recognize. Text messages, dozens. From a bridesmaid. I'm so sorry, we had no idea. Cousin. Is this true? Please tell me you're okay. One from his best friend. I knew something felt off. I'm here if you need anything. And one from Evan. You destroyed my life. I hope you're happy. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Then I typed. You tried to destroy mine with lies. I just showed up with receipts. Good night. I blocked his number and went to bed. Sunday morning, 8 a.m. A loud, aggressive pounding jolted me awake. The kind of pounding that makes your heart sprint before your brain does. I stumbled to the peephole in my oversized t-shirt. Evan's dad stood on the other side of my door. Evan's brother next to him, arms crossed, jaw clenched. Wonderful. I didn't open it. His dad raised his voice. We need to talk. I raised mine right back. No, you don't. Open this door right now, the brother barked. Stop being childish. Or what? I said through the door. You'll break it down? Please do. I'll call the police and let them handle you. Silence. Then his dad tried a calmer tone. We just want to understand what happened yesterday. Evan is upset. I let out a humorless laugh. Your son has been cheating on me for months. He lied about everything. Then he tried to publicly accuse me of cheating to ruin my reputation before the truth came out. I showed evidence. That's what happened. More silence. His dad finally said, he made a mistake. He made 200 mistakes, I replied. Don't minimize what he did. And stop coming to my home. Tell him and your entire family to stop contacting me. We're done. They eventually left. The second their footsteps faded, I called my landlord. I explained everything. Briefly, vaguely, but enough. He sighed and said, honestly, we've seen situations like this before. Let's change your locks. By noon, the locks were new. $180, worth every cent. Monday was vendor day, a day I dreaded even before yesterday. The venue was non-refundable. My $3,000 deposit evaporated with a polite email. The photographer was within the 30-day window, lost $1,200. Caterer, partial refund. DJ, 50%. Florist, none. By the end of the day, I tallied the damage, about $5,600 gone. Painful, but cheaper than a divorce. Evan tried calling from different numbers throughout the day. I blocked each one. Tuesday afternoon, security at my office called my desk phone. There's a woman here demanding to see you. Says it's urgent. Who? She didn't give a name. She said you know her. I closed my eyes. Maid of honor, I guessed. Black hair, white coat, dramatic eyelashes. Yes, actually. I'm unavailable, I said. We have nothing to discuss. She apparently sat in the lobby for 2 hours before leaving. My coworkers whispered. I ignored every curious look. Wednesday, things escalated. Evan's mom posted on Facebook a long, emotional, performative manifesto about my daughter-in-law-to-be having her privacy violated, being tracked, abused, humiliated by a controlling man with tech access. She tagged me. She tagged my employer. She posted photos of Evan crying. It had 30 shares in 10 minutes. An hour later, my boss knocked on my office door. Hey, he said carefully. I saw something weird on social media. Are you okay? I exhaled and told him the truth. Steady, factual, without embellishing. Then I emailed him every piece of documentation I'd shown at the bridal shower. He read it. His eyebrows climbed. Okay, he said. So, she lied. A lot. Yes, I said. You need anything? He asked. No, I said. Just letting you know in case HR hears anything. He nodded. For what it's worth, you handled this like a pro, and you dodged a bullet. That sentence stayed with me the rest of the day. Thursday, the ex-girlfriend/trainer showed up at my apartment. She knocked. Hard. I opened the door, against my better judgment, but kept the chain latched. She stood there in leggings and a crop top, arms folded, looking furious and insecure all at once. We need to talk, she snapped. No, I said, we don't. He said you were abusive, she insisted. He said you controlled everything, that he left you months ago, that you forced him to... I cut her off. When was the last time you saw him? She blinked. Last night. Interesting. Last night, he'd tried to call me 6 times. Okay, I said. When did he tell you he broke up with me? Months ago, she said. He said the relationship was dead and toxic. We were set to be married in 3 weeks, I said plainly. Bridal shower was 5 days ago. Her face drained of color. And, I added, your apartment, Unit 6B, he's been there 23 times in 6 weeks, while lying to me, while lying to you. So you may want to reevaluate who's actually toxic here. Her lips trembled. She didn't argue. She didn't defend him. She just whispered, I didn't know, and walked away. I closed the door and locked every bolt. Bam. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling. This wasn't over. Not even close. There was more fallout coming. I could feel it building like a storm. But I didn't feel afraid. I felt steady. And that was a different kind of power. Thursday night bled into Friday morning with a strange, electric quietness, like the universe was holding its breath. I was mid-rep at the gym, trying to sweat out the clogged feeling in my chest, when I saw Evan walking toward me in the mirror's reflection. No, not Evan. His ex, the trainer. Her expression told me everything before she even opened her mouth. But this time she wasn't angry. She looked wrecked. She didn't say a word before turning around and walking straight out the door. And I understood. She'd confronted him. She'd gotten the real story. One more thread in his web snapped. But the real storm was still coming. Friday afternoon, the storm arrived. I walked into the lobby of my apartment building and nearly collided with him. Evan, standing there like he'd been rehearsing the moment. His eyes were red, like he hadn't slept or had forced himself to cry for effect. His voice was low and dramatic. Lauren, we need to talk. No, I said, not slowing. We don't. He reached out, not touching me, but blocking my direction. Please, just hear me out. I stared at his hand. Move, Evan. He swallowed, moved his hand, but followed me 3 steps behind as I walked toward the elevator. Look, he said. I know I messed up. That almost made me laugh. Messed up? I repeated. You cheated on me. For months. With your ex. And then you tried to accuse me of your crime in front of 50 people. His jaw twitched. I was confused. You weren't confused, I said. You were caught. There's a difference. He stepped into the elevator with me before I could stop him. The doors closed. He lowered his voice to a whisper. I didn't want to lose you. I pressed the button harder than necessary. You lost me the second you lied. Lauren, he shook his head, tears welling dramatically. I love you. No, you love control, I said. You love attention. You love being the victim. You don't love me. People who love you don't do what you did. The elevator dinged. I stepped out. He followed. Stop, I snapped, turning. Don't follow me into my hallway. Please, he said, voice cracking. We can work through this. I stared at him for a long, cold second. Evan had always been charming. Good at letters, speeches at parties. A natural storyteller when he was the hero. But standing there, pleading, trying to twist the narrative again. Something inside me clicked. It wasn't heartbreak. It was clarity. This isn't a story you get to rewrite, I said, and I'm not a character you get to manipulate. He blinked rapidly. I'm sorry, he whispered. No, I said, you're sorry you got caught. He flinched. I stepped around him, walked to my door, and unlocked it with my brand new keys. Don't contact me again, I said without turning back. As I closed the door behind me, I heard a soft, pathetic, "You're throwing away 4 years." I didn't answer. He'd already thrown them away. Saturday afternoon, my phone buzzed with a call from a bridesmaid using a number I hadn't yet blocked. Against better judgment, I answered. Look, she said without hello. She knows she messed up. Evan is devastated. His family is in shambles. Did you have to humiliate him like that? I closed my eyes. Did I humiliate him? I asked. Or did he choose a stage and a microphone and an audience to accuse me of cheating? She paused. Then, well, yeah, but still, you could have handled it privately. He didn't want private, I said. He wanted public, so he got public with the truth. A long exhale crackled through the phone. He's broken, Lauren, completely broken. He broke himself. I hung up and blocked her number. I didn't feel guilty. I felt tired and steady, a strange combination that felt almost like strength.
Yes.
Sunday morning, the trainer posted on Instagram, a long caption over a black background. I didn't know. I didn't know about the wedding. I didn't know about the lies. And I want to publicly apologize to the woman who deserved better than what she got. Then screenshots. Texts from Evan. She means nothing. You're the one I want. Please don't ignore me. She's controlling. She forced me to stay. I swear we broke up months ago. The comments section went feral. His friends, her followers, mutual acquaintances. Everyone demanding answers. Someone tagged me. Then 10 more people did. Danny sent it to me with one line. Girl, he just got nuked from orbit. I stared at my phone a long time. Not gloating, not pleased. Just sad. Because it didn't have to be like this. He did this. He burned everything down trying to light me on fire first. Week 2 arrived and things only grew worse. Monday morning, I got a knock on my door. A courier. A manila envelope. I signed for it, opened it, and froze. I was being sued. Evan was suing me for emotional distress, invasion of privacy, defamation. Damages requested, $25,000. I actually laughed. Out loud. A sharp, humorless bark. Then I texted Danny. Attorney recommendation. Now. She sent me a number instantly. By afternoon, I was in a law office conference room, across from a lawyer with silver hair and a terrifyingly calm voice. I handed him everything. My evidence, the texts, the presentation, the social media posts, recordings, screenshots, timeline. He took 15 minutes to read it all. Then he sat back, folded his hands, and said, He has no case. 0. In fact, he paused. This is retaliation and harassment. We can counter. How much? I asked. 3,000 retainer, he said. We'll likely recover fees. I didn't hesitate. Do it, he nodded. Good. And Lauren? Most people crumble under this kind of thing. You're impressively composed. I'm not composed, I said. I'm furious. Good, he said. Use that. Tuesday, Evan's mom escalated. Another public post. Photos of Evan crying on a couch. Hashtags about abuse. Wailing paragraphs about strong women being punished for speaking the truth. She tagged me. Again. And my employer. Again. My mom called 5 minutes after it went up. This woman is delusional, she fumed. If she posts one more lie, I swear to God. Mom, I said, my lawyer is sending a cease and desist. She paused. Then, good, destroy her. I blinked. My mother is a kind, gentle, conflict-avoiding person. Hearing her say that, something inside me softened. It felt good to be defended. Wednesday, the trainer posted again. Screenshots of Evan begging to get back together, claiming I had forced him to date her. The comments were vicious. Girl, run. Red flag factory. Wow, he lied to both of them? Trash. Piece by piece, the illusion Evan had built for himself was shredded publicly. And he did it all to himself. Thursday, his lawyer called mine. Perhaps, the lawyer said, we can reach a settlement. My lawyer asked, what settlement? She drops everything. He drops everything. Clean slate. My lawyer actually laughed. No, counteroffer. He drops the suit. He stops all contact. He removes all defamatory posts. And he pays her legal fees. There was a long silence on the other side. We'll discuss. Friday, a letter arrived. Handwritten. 6 pages. Evan's handwriting. It was a ramble of apologies, justifications, manipulation. You're my soulmate. I don't know why I did it. We can get past this. Followed by, I contributed over $15,000 worth of gifts, time, effort, and emotional investment to our relationship. Perhaps we can settle things by you acknowledging my investment. My lawyer read it and said, "This is gold. He just admitted this is about money, not emotional distress." I scanned the last line of the letter again. I think 15,000 is fair. He was trying to send me a bill for dating him. I felt sick, then angry, then clear. I saved the pages. Documented, dated, photographed. Saturday morning, my phone rang. A number I didn't recognize. I answered out of habit. "Lauren," a familiar voice said. Evan's father. He sighed heavily, as if he were the victim. "Look, son." "I'm not your son," I snapped. He corrected himself. "Lauren, let's be adults about this. Drop the countersuit. Evan will drop his. Let's end this." "He started the lawsuit," I said. "If he wants it gone, he can drop it first." "He's hurt," his father said. "He made a mistake filing, but you're escalating this." "No," I said. "Your son escalated it the moment he tried to ruin my life in public." There was a pause, then a threat dressed as concern. "You're going to regret this. We have lawyers in the family. We can make this very expensive." "Cool," I said. "My lawyer says we'll recover fees." He hung up. I blocked his number and exhaled. One more thread severed. But the war wasn't over. Not yet. Sunday was strangely quiet. A silence that felt less like calm and more like the breath before an earthquake. No calls, no pounding on my door, no social media alerts, nothing. It almost made me uneasy. But Monday morning proved why. At 9:12 a.m., while I was sipping coffee at my desk, I got an email notification from my lawyer. Subject: Opposing party update. Lauren, his lawsuit has been dropped. No explanation provided. Next steps below. Just like that. Gone. Withdrawn without apology, without acknowledgement, without accountability. My lawyer followed up with a note. Their side is clearly scrambling. They're trying to end this quietly, but we still have leverage. He sent a final demand to Evan's lawyer. Remove all defamatory social posts. Issue a retraction. Stop all contact. Pay $5,000 for legal fees. Or we proceed with the countersuit. I read it twice. Not because I doubted it, but because a part of me, some small, scared remnant, had never expected to feel this powerful. Wednesday, the first domino fell. Evan's mother's entire Facebook history for the last 3 weeks vanished. Every post about abuse, privacy violations, controlling men, all of it, deleted. No apology, no admission, just silence. My phone buzzed with a message from my lawyer. Progress. Expect more by Friday. Thursday, his lawyer sent a terse message. My client will pay $4,500 in fees. No further contact. Consider this an acceptable settlement. My lawyer forwarded it to me with a single line. We asked for $5,000. They sent $4,500. Take it. You're free. I sat back in my chair, staring at the email. 45. It didn't cover all my lost deposits. It didn't cover all the emotional carnage. It didn't erase what happened. But it was something tangible. A financial acknowledgement that they were wrong, that I wasn't. That mattered more than I expected. Friday, the final crack appeared. A text from a random number lit up my screen at 6:17 p.m. I'm moving, leaving town. I can't handle everyone knowing what happened. I hope you're happy. You won. I read it once, then again. This was the man who tried to destroy me, publicly, with lies, confident that he could twist the narrative, make me the villain, walk away clean. He'd built a house of stories for himself, and it collapsed on him. I deleted the message, blocked the number, went on with my evening. 5 weeks passed. Enough time for the adrenaline to fade, for the anger to cool into something quieter. Grief, clarity, growth. My life slowly began rebuilding itself around the crater he left. Unexpectedly, work was good. My boss trusted me more, gave me a major new project. Danny came over more often, sometimes to laugh, sometimes to cry, sometimes to eat Doritos at midnight like we were teenagers. My mom checked on me constantly. My little sister sent me TikToks that made me snort laugh. My therapist told me I needed to stop apologizing for taking up space. Bit by bit, my life felt less like a shattered mirror and more like a mosaic. Different, but whole. One afternoon, I opened the drawer where I'd shoved the engagement ring. I held it in my palm for a long minute. It felt foreign, like it belonged to a past version of me who didn't exist anymore. I took it to a jeweler. He examined it under bright lights, his face neutral. I can give you about 60% of its original value, he said. Deal. I used the money as a down payment on a new car, something efficient, reliable, mine. A fresh start with wheels. People kept asking me, do you regret exposing him publicly? No. He chose the stage. He chose the audience. He chose the microphone. He wanted applause for calling me a villain. I just didn't let him finish the play. And I didn't let him rewrite my story. One night, my best friend took me out for drinks. We didn't talk about the wedding, or the lawsuit, or Evan, not once. We talked about a dumb work meme, her new apartment, a cooking class we wanted to try, the bartender's questionable haircut. On the walk home, halfway down Main Street, I realized something. I hadn't thought about Evan all day. Not once. Not even when someone walked past wearing his cologne. Not even when my phone buzzed. Not even when we talked about weddings, or relationships, or red flags. He didn't exist in my mind for a whole day. And that was a bigger victory than the settlement, the courtroom threats, or the deleted Facebook posts. It meant I was free. Finally, fully free. In the end, the evidence I presented wasn't just about proving I didn't cheat. It was about refusing to be gaslit, refusing to let someone else rewrite the truth, refusing to let a liar turn me into a character in his tragedy. He tried to make me the villain, but in the end, he became the cautionary tale, and I walked away clean.